Good morning, everyone. It's Zodiark, and we got the news that Chamber of Arms boss number 12, Alpherg, will be available Thursday. So I figured I'd take this time to go over what the hell he's going to be doing and maybe what I'm going to try to do to work around this. So we'll get to the obviously the hard part. Ragnarok is our prize for this. It's a 145 sword, not a great sword, just a sword. 30 win condition, 2 summon tickets. We have to deal ice, wind, earth, and dark damage twice during this fight. And we have to evoke Ramu and Titan. Interesting. That will get us the materia Shadow Warrior, which is, I believe, HP 30% and guarantees not dying after your HP is past a certain threshold. But we'll go ahead and get into that later. So, let's look at the stats. 17 million HP. He is known as an aquatic and a stone type. We're not going to worry with MP. Attack value 750. Magic 750. Defense and spirit. Defense 500. Spirit 300. So, leaning more on magic. Now, this is key. Immune to defense spirit breaks. Vulnerable to attack magic breaks. So, since we can see at the bottom of the page here that we have a 50% threshold, it looks like that we're going to be pushing to about 8.5 million. It will be 2 phases. It's a 2-phase fight, so there's only going to be the one threshold that we know of. But here's another thing. 50% non-elemental resistance, which means that we will be having to deal with bringing in elements for this, but I'm wondering how this is going to play out. So I'll tell you what, let's look at the what he can do in phase 1. He has access to an ability known as Guardian of Darkness. Physical damage 12 multiplier to a single enemy. Great March. Physical damage 15 to all enemies and reduce attack and defense for 3 turns. Big Scissors, physical damage, 13 multiplier, all enemies. Defense 50%, 3 turns. So basically Big Scissors is the reduced version of Great March, but just defense breaking. Mucus Bubble, water magical damage, 5 multiplier to all enemies. 50% water down, inflict paralyze. So there's our first status element, paralyze, first element water. Aquatic Tornado, water and wind magical damage, 7 times to all enemies. So now we have wind in the mix. Pagurus Revolute, non-elemental magic damage, 10 times multiplier to all enemies. And now we're on the magic side, reduce magic and spirit 50%. Bubble Splash, and then we got that question mark. Magic, fixed damage, 5 times multiplier to a single enemy with a reduced spirit of 50% for 3 turns. So it looks like he's doing so far a mix between physical and magic, leading toward water with some wind. Shell Retreat. Oh, Lord, here we go. Mitigate physical magical damage taken 99% for 1 turn to caster. So obviously, whichever turn he does this, halt all offense. You're not going to do anything. Although, it doesn't say it can be dispelled. We'll have to see. Fire Quarrel. Add fire element to physical attacks to all enemies for 5 turns. Set fire resistance to 200% for 5 turns to the caster. So here we go again. Forcing your guys to get elemental abuse that they do not want. And we have lightning and light. So we have the other 2 more variants of this. Interesting. So, how's he going to work? Turn 1. Counters all physical attacks with Guardian of Darkness to the attacker. Okay, so that's that 12 time multiplier to physical damage. So I wonder if you could blink that. We'll definitely have to use maybe pod 153 or definitely some kind of physical mitigator for damage on this one. This boss will take 12 turns in total action. On the first turn, oh Lord, he does all three of those attacks: fire, lightning, and light whirl, followed by Great March. So already, very start of the battle, or at least on his first turn, he's going to give the entire party fire, light, and lightning elemental imbues, increase his elemental resistance to those elements by 200%, making all those attacks useless. Then he's just basically going to do a 15-time multiplier, AoE to everybody, and debuff them an additional 50%. Then he follows up with Shell Retreat and ends the turn. So, looks like to me, first turn's going to be set up. Alright, and then we got a couple thresholds before we get to 50. On the 90, he will be doing Fire Whirl again, so that will give the entire team Fire Imbue with him getting 200 Fire Resist. And then he's going to do Pagaris Revolt and Shell Retreat. So Pagaris Revolt would be the magic AoE with the magic spirit down attack. So yeah. What I'm wondering is if you push to 70, does he do both thresholds? That we will have to find out when we go in. Alright, so then Lightning Whirl on the 70% threshold and Light Whirl followed by Great March and Pagaris Revolt. So that's a double AoE and another Shell Retreat. Ends turn. Above 50%, every fourth turn, with the turn counter being 4, 8, 12, etc., 33% chance to use Fire Whirl, 50% to use Lightning Whirl, and a guaranteed Light Whirl use. Every fifth turn, he goes into a shell. And every turn, he will do Big Scissors. So, regardless what's going on, he's going to hit everyone for 13 multiplier and reduce their defense. On even-numbered turns, he's going to do Mucus Bubble, which is water damage. And then on the odd-numbered turns, he's going to do Aquatic Tornado. So, even turns, water damage. Odd turns, water and wind damage. Any turn under 70%, he's going to add 2 Bubble Splashes, which is that fixed damage. And any actions after this is going to be additional Bubble Splashes or normal attacks. So, the way this is going to play out is he has single target, normal physical attacks, but the rest of his physical attack set is AoE. Guardian of Darkness only hits on counters for physical. As far as his magic abilities, he's going to be relying solely on, well, for the most part, water damage with wind mixed in, but he's going to start doing Bubble Splash, which is that fixed damage. But it's only a 5 multiplier, but that reduction in spirit could hurt. Now, his reductions are all 50% each. So it seems to me the best way to go about doing this is, if you're going to make a physical attack team, you don't even bring them in unless you just want to try to get limit breaks and shit. But it looks like the best way to do this is with casters. And already the problem I'm seeing is based on his stats alone. Alpherg is going to absorb water. He's going to have 50% earth and dark resist. And you're going to assume later on in the fight he's going to get 200% fire, lightning, and light resist. That leaves 2 elements open. Ice and wind. And remember, this thing is a stone creature. So, we'll have to do some research and see where we can exploit those. But I'm seeing Medina and maybe even White Knight Noel chaining ice attacks possibly happening here. This could be a thing. But anyway, let's get to that last threshold at 49-0. Alright, he gains access to, he still retains Guardian of Darkness. Scale Cutter is a 5-time multiplier to all enemies, physical. Now this looks devastating. Insanely Mad. Physical damage, 15 multiplier, all enemies with the same reduction. So Insanely Mad is basically Great March again. Abyssal Zone, magic damage, 9-time multiplier, reduce defense 50% for 1 turn to 1 enemy. Corruption Drown, magical damage, 9-time multiplier, all enemies with poison and disease, guaranteed. So far that adds paralysis, poison, and disease into your mix. Hydro Breath, water damage, 11-time, all enemy. Okay. Super Roar. Now, this looks like this is devastating. Magic damage, 14. Attack magic down 50% for 3 turns to all enemies. My God. Guys already, bring stuff that prevents status or stat downs or removes them, because goddamn, this guy loves them. Super Hydraulics. That is magical damage, fixed, 50% HP, all enemies, inflict stop. So right off the bat, there you go again. We need stop. Bite down, 150% HP damage to 1 enemy. Well, I'd say without mitigation, that's death. And Stone Breath, Petrify, 100% all enemies. All right. So, without going any further, the status ailments we know we're going to contend with: paralysis, poison, disease, stop, and petrify. It looks like the magical elements: water with a splash of wind. No pun intended. But yeah, definitely massive stat reductions. So how does the boss go in his final form? Again, all physical attacks will be countered with Guardian of Darkness. So as long as we bring magic users, Guardian of Darkness won't even be used. He also still retains his 12 actions and the 50% threshold. He gains access to, he'll just do Super Roar, Insanely Mad, and Stone Breath. So Petrification, you got whoever's out there resist Petrify, that move's gone. Insanely Mad, well, that's just a basic 15 damage multiplier there. And Super Roar, as we were reading earlier, is magic damage. So it looks like to me you definitely want to break him on the transition. But he doesn't buff himself. I don't see anywhere in any of his abilities where he actually buffs himself. So I guess that's a plus for once. If you continue on into 30%, he's going to do Super Hydraulics, followed by Hydro and Stone Breath. And then at 20%, he's going to trip up Super Roar. So unless your magic shield is doing some major mitigation, I don't think they're going to survive that. So at below 50% health on all the even turns, he's going to do Bite Down, which is that 150% damage. So be wary of that. That could probably be where you need a re-res. Every turn under 30%, he'll start doing Super Hydraulics, Hydro Breath, Scale Cutter, and then so and so. All right. So, having read all this malarkey, it looks like this is going to be the tactic for the fight. You're going to want a physical tank that is probably more than likely going to run 100% physical evasion, just completely do away with this, with his physical damage. You want a magic tank with, let's see here, as far as elemental debuff, you would only need 150 water and 100% wind. That's easy to hit. After that, as much spirit and HP as you can put into them. But it looks like to me, casters. You bring every caster you've got that can go into an element, preferably ice and wind. Tornado chaining, guys. This could be a thing. We might be tornado chaining this. I'm giving serious consideration to the tornado chain. Medina, Barbaricia, White Knight Noel. I'm trying to think who else I've got. Seabreeze Dark Fina. I might fucking be doing this. Just tornado chain it out. Alright. So, definitely keep the boss broke. Physical tank, 100% evade. Magic tank, 150 water, 100% wind. With as much spirit and HP as you can muster. As far as the elements, I think Seabreeze Dark Phoenix can take care of most of that. I'll have to figure out how to slide in the others. Now, as far as our win cons, don't need a limit break kill, don't need an Esper kill, don't need a magic kill. So our focus will be getting the Espers out early on the first phase, I think. Might go so far as to bring in an ace just to sack and do this like turns 2 and 3. Well, actually he has to build because it's a 4-turn cooldown. So yeah, that's the idea at least. Okay, so I'll be working on a group. I'll have a video up for this on Thursday. If you thought that this was informative, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. And Thursday, I'll rock it out with Alpherg. That's just a weird name. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll be on the builder getting my troops ready. Good luck.